suppose a group hug's out of the question.
Grand Theft Auto 5, coming September 17th, rated M for mature.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Young here and welcome to a Grand Theft Auto 5 review roundup. The reviews are in, folks, and here is what journalists all over the web have to say. Currently, the game's overall Metacritic score rests at a steady 98% average based on 37 reviews. The only reviewer to give the game a lower score than a 90% thus far is The Escapist, giving the game a rather unexpected score of 70% or 3.5 stars out of 5. The Escapist praised the game for its technical achievements and improved gameplay, but bashed the script for being marred by despicable protagonists who have no justifiable motivation for doing the awful things they do to other people. Now, I have seen other critics say that Michael's story isn't as compelling as Nico's, but they still found themselves loving the story and narrative, and most importantly, they found themselves loving the game, giving it a sizable score. For example, website Joystick gave the game 4.5 stars out of 5, or a 90% rating, stating that while there are certain things to complain about in terms of story, the rest of the open world remains a showpiece of the vast amount of content that can be poured into a virtual world. Website Destructoid also gave it a 90% rating, although the reviewer complained about a completely different matter, the heist missions. He states that what's there is thrilling, but don't always reach their full potential. Overall, he was extremely impressed by the game's many achievements. Kicking it up a notch is website Polygon with a score of 95%. The website echoes what all other sources are saying in regards to the game's improved gameplay, its technical achievements, and the new possibilities that the three protagonist form of narrative and gameplay brings to the franchise. The reviewer's main complaint was the lack of female characters and the way that the few that were there were treated. Another complaint was that the game sometimes took its satirical self too far, describing some of the game's cynicism and excessive cruelty as both unnecessary and agitating. But overall, the reviewer described GTA 5 as an incredible game that will bridge this generation to the next. On the highest end of the review score spectrum are websites like Game Trailers, Game Informer, and IGN. The former two awarded the game with a 98% rating, while IGN, along with more than 3/4 of all reviewers thus far, have awarded the game with a perfect score. Game Trailers echoed similar compliments, commending it for one of the biggest, most dense, and liveliest game worlds out there, with an incredible checklist of things to do. However, like various reviewers out there, Game Trailers noted that GTA 5 lacks the narrative fidelity of its predecessors due to its vast open world structure and the game's three protagonist form of narrative. But apart from these minor complaints, the reviewer found no other flaws. Game Informer had similar compliments to give, citing that the game has taken lessons from past games like Midnight Club LA, Red Dead Redemption, and Max Payne 3 to create the most well-rounded GTA game to date, but similar to other sources, the reviewer notes that the narrative and story do not live up to the high expectations set by Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto 4. The game is described as being a worthy successor of the GTA franchise. Finally, let's talk about IGN's review, which has labeled the game as a masterpiece. IGN's reviewer had little problems with the game's unique narrative, although it was noted that certain portions did make the player feel a little too uncomfortable, pushing the boundaries of taste a bit too far. Regardless, the game's incredible world, gripping story, varied and thrilling missions, along with its hilarious world and script were enough for IGN to grant it a perfect score of 10. I think it is safe to say that any gamer out there should, at their discretion, play this game. Overall, the one major flaw that the game seems to face is a narrative that's a little messier than and not as compelling as past games, along with the inclusion of certain stigmas that sometimes unnecessarily step over the line. Minor criticisms revolve around heist missions, which while thrilling, could have reached higher if players had more freedom and choice in influencing their success or failure. But bottom line is, Grand Theft Auto 5 is nothing short of a technical marvel that should be experienced by anyone who owns an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, and hopefully PC soon to follow. Anyways, that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Look forward to my own review in the days to come, and to be further updated on Grand Theft Auto 5, be sure to join the nation and subscribe to Young. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much, and Young out.